My next pleasure is to welcome Ffion Mitchell from the Marine Conservation Society, Hiraeth Yn Y Mor, the Ocean Literacy Project covering Towyn, Kinmel Bay, Rhyl and Prestatyn. This project is concerned with engaging, upskilling and empowering local communities to take action on the marine environment.
Okay, bore da. Pnawn da nawr, dia. Dwi'n mynd I bod yn siarad yn Saesneg heddi, ond os mae yna pobl tu fewn, stafell yma sydd yn well gennych chi siarad Cymraeg, fyddai'n falch iawn I siarad Cymraeg draws cinio os ydych chi eisiau cael sgwrs. Just explaining that I am going to be delivering the talk in English, for those of you who might be low-key panicking a little bit. So yeah, those of you who don't know me, my name's Ffion Mitchell. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Hiraeth Yn Y Mor project manager based at the Marine Conservation Society. And I'm really, really pleased to today, alongside Maria and the ZSL team, to be taking you a bit downstream now into our coastal and marine environment. But just before I dive in, just a show of hands of anyone in the room that works at the marine or coastal fringe. Wow, okay. We're in a really freshwater, terrestrially dense room right now, aren't we? Which is great, you know. Hopefully it means that we'll have a lot of new information to share with you today. So just as a bit of background context as to who the Marine Conservation Society are, that's what I'm going to kick off with you all first. Then followed by a brief introduction into ocean literacy. Then more specifically what we're doing within the Hiraeth Yn Y Mor project, and finally ways that you can all engage with us. So not only is this going to be slightly different from talks that you've heard already this morning in the sense that this is going to be a marine focused project, but actually I'm not going to be touching at all on any technical specialist environmental work. This is a community-led values-driven project that is currently underway and actually, for many of our work packages, is yet to take place, which is why we've got this really exciting opportunity to present opportunities for you all to get involved and collaborate and partner up with us on some really exciting deliverables that we're going to be working on. So who are the Marine Conservation Society? So we're a UK-wide environmental NGO. Obviously, it's in our name. We specialise in the marine environment. And our mission as an organisation is to fight for the future of our ocean through driving various facets of change through people-powered action. So that is the people that are our volunteers, the stakeholders that we work with, the communities that we work with science on our side. And as an organisation, we're working towards achieving 3 key things. So firstly, we want a better protected ocean. So by 2030, we're calling for a third of our oceans to be truly protected. So moving away from this really unuseful paper park structure that we currently have with our MPA network, and actually really thinking about what management structures and techniques and methodologies do we really need to be implementing to create meaningful marine protected areas. Secondly, we want a cleaner ocean. So by 2030, we're calling for a clear downward trend in pollution levels. That includes chemicals pollutions as well. And a special thank you to Tom, wherever you are in the room, for raising the matter about PCBs, which is something that we feel really passionate about at MCS as well. And then thirdly and finally, we want a healthier ocean. So by 2030, we're calling for our fish stocks to be at sustainable levels. We really recognise at MCS the importance of fisheries, to us in Wales in particular. It's a really core aspect of our culture and heritage that should not be forgotten about or lost, particularly in the context of how we think about farming, which I might add does apply to our marine environment as well in many ways. So those are our 3 kind of core ocean goals, if you like, but what are we doing to really bring those goals to life? How do we actually work as an organisation, and how do we work as a project, really? So firstly, we undertake a lot of advocacy work. So we work really closely with businesses and decision makers, but importantly, really challenging them constructively when they really do fall short of what they need to be doing. Secondly, we educate and engage. So really similar to what I'm doing here, standing in front of you all today. We reach out to communities, individuals, businesses, and again, stakeholders to let them know about all of the issues our marine and coastal environment are facing, but importantly, how interconnected those issues are with things that are happening on land, terrestrially, and within our freshwater systems too. And then thirdly, we undertake lots and lots of practical conservation work. So rather than kind of, the desk-based, behind the background type work, we do roll our sleeves up and get stuck into some really exciting things as well. So this primarily takes the form of citizen science, which some of you may be familiar with as a term. I believe it was just touched on briefly a bit earlier. So citizen science is essentially a way of mobilizing communities and members of the public and anyone with a genuine interest or passion in the environment, really, to get involved and support us in collating evidence and all of the data that we require to really back up our asks and drive change. So we do lots of citizen science work, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, but we also do some more specialist technical marine conservation work as well. Some of you might have heard of the Natharan Byth programme, which is taking part across a variety of sites in Wales. It's headed up by NRW. We have numerous ENGOs involved in its delivery, many of which are in the room today, and we're really proud to say that the Marine Conservation Society are leading on the full whole marine package of that project, looking at native oyster restoration, seagrass restoration, and more. But above all else, the Marine Conservation Society believe and are committed to creating this sense of one ocean for everyone. And this is about no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter your background, everyone deserves and has a right to access and benefit from what the ocean has to provide, be that in the form of livelihood, recreational usage. Again, we spoke about earlier this morning about the mental health benefits associated with the environment, but also the crisis that we're in around our health and well-being as people as well. And that our natural environment, be it the coast, be it the sea, be it inland, is a really great opportunity for us to really help tap in and tackle those challenges. But unfortunately, controversially, the environment sector is the second least diverse sector out of all sectors, second only to farming, which I don't know how you all feel about that, but for me that is deeply shameful. And so we do have a real collective responsibility to do what we can to tackle those areas of exclusivity and inaccessibility when it comes to our environment, but the work that we're doing and the careers in which we all find ourselves in as well. So what is ocean literacy? Can I just have a quick show of hands as to whether anyone has ever heard of this before? So if you have heard of it, can you please put your hand up? Okay, some of you. Actually, surprisingly more than I thought would put their hand up, which perhaps is really good news. So ocean literacy, in a nutshell, it's all about understanding the ocean's influence on you as individuals and as a collective, but equally importantly, the ocean's influence on us. So where did ocean literacy begin as a concept? So it originated across in America when a bunch of educators basically got together, they took a look at their curriculum and they thought, wow, we're teaching our future generations a lot about trees, a lot about rivers. And I'm obviously not going to stand here in this room and say none of those things are important, but it's really important that we have that full picture when it comes to raising knowledge and awareness on, the world that we live in as a whole. Of course, the majority of the world that we live in is covered by water. The ocean is a critical source of the oxygen in which we breathe, as well as more. So it was really imperative to inject more ocean into our curriculum, not just in America, but across the world. So that's where ocean literacy started, and as a way to help better inject more ocean, more marine into the curriculum, these 7 ocean literacy principles were formed, which I won't all read out to you, but they're up there if you'd like to take a look. Now, a lot has gone on with ocean literacy in terms of its development as a concept and how we understand it over the past couple of decades. And what originally started with the ocean literacy movement was, again, it came from a group of educators. Their primary focus was about building knowledge. And we mentioned behaviour change a bit earlier on. And really as a sector, and perhaps more broadly as well across other industries, we've typically thought of knowledge as the one key that unlocks all doors when it comes to positive behaviour change. So in essence, you have point A, be it a person or a group, with a lack of knowledge. You therefore provide that knowledge, and then you linearly reach point B, where as a result of having that knowledge, people are able to make positive behaviour change. But we know that that's far, far from the truth, right? People are really complex, which is why since there has been the development of the ocean literacy dimensions, which really are the drivers of ocean literacy, these are the things that we should be caring about. And I would say that actually, despite the small number of people in this room that work and operate in the marine and coastal environment, this is a really applicable framework across other areas of environmental work and beyond. Because of course, it's all about communication. How do we communicate the issues that we're talking about? But equally, trust and transparency. The people that you're trying to communicate with, do they trust you? Because if they don't trust you, then they are not going to believe in anything that you have to say. And that might have really negative repercussions on what it is that you're trying to achieve. So moving on to our project, Hiraeth Yn Y Mor. Hiraeth Yn Y Mor is a Nature Networks 2 funded project delivered by, obviously, the Marine Conservation Society on behalf of the National Lottery Heritage Fund. And we're working specifically across 4 coastal communities in North East Wales. So that's Kinmel Bay, Towyn, Rhyl and Prestatyn. It's running for 2 years. Scarily, we're nearly halfway, but lots of exciting work to come. And the overarching aim of the project is to grow ocean literacy using the framework that I just showed to you all as a means to support the sustainable management of Liverpool Bay SPA, but also importantly improve community health and well-being too. So what are we doing / what are we going to be doing as part of this project? And when I say going to be doing, I'll show you the timeline in a moment. So we're going to be providing a suite of experiential activities for members of those communities to get involved and importantly build a relationship with the ocean and with the coastal environment. So this could take the form of snorkeling trips, boat trips, guided beach walks, beach yoga and beyond. We're going to be empowering people to take action through citizen science and other means, such as upskilling and training them in the abilities to understand how are decisions made that impact their local environment and local area, and importantly, how can they get involved? Through that, we'll be inspiring others to care for the ocean. Fingers crossed, that's the goal. But we'll also on the side be conducting some more community-scale social science research into ocean literacy, taking our National Ocean Literacy Survey and applying it to a community-scale context and seeing how the data compares. We'll be tackling barriers to participation. So again, I mentioned earlier, obviously EDI is something that's really, really important to us. That's equity, diversity, inclusion, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term. So really, how can we, again, take the responsibility to tackle those barriers for people to engage with the environment? And that includes things like paying for people's childcare, paying for transport, making sure that the timing of your events are accessible, that the language is accessible, that you deliver your materials in multiple languages. It's really important. We're a bilingual country, but also multilingual beyond Welsh and English. So I'm just going to gloss over this in the interest of time. But this is our project timeline. And the reason why I'm showing this to you is because this is a live project. We have not finished yet, and actually far from it. We've got some really exciting work packages coming up, primarily work packages 6 to 8, where we'll be delivering all of these kind of exciting opportunities and engagement activities that I've discussed. So how are we doing it? As well as EDI, what's really important to us is demonstrating how the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act can be implemented in practice. So following the launch of the Cymru Can strategy, which leads the Office of Future Generations Commissioner for Wales up to 2030, the key focus is delivery and implementation. Public bodies across Wales are really, really struggling and grappling with how elements of the Act can apply in practice. And fortunately for us as a sector, this is a fantastic opportunity for us to utilise this as a lever in the work that we're doing and what we're trying to collectively achieve. So for us in designing the project, it was massively underpinned by the Wellbeing Plan for Conwy and Denbighshire Public Service Board, and we are embedding the ways of working in how we work. And one example of how we're doing that is through the establishment of the One Ocean Forum. So the One Ocean Forum is a group of diverse collective of community members within our project area who we are wholly accountable to. Because ultimately, this is a community-led project. We place the communities that we're working with and in at the heart of what we're doing. So they are very much steering what they want to see in terms of deliverables, in terms of challenges. And of course, it'll be no surprise that water quality and issues around pollution are right at the top of that priority list. And here's just some photos of them in action. It's a lovely one of you, Claire. So I'm running out of time, so just quickly to wrap up, ways to get involved. As I mentioned, this is a live project. We're looking to really involve as many people as possible, be it within the River Clwyd catchment or within the surrounding area that has an interest in this project. We really want you to get involved and to partner with us in the delivery. I should caveat this by saying we've got a really healthy funding pot. Okay, it's not a problem, I should say, to a degree. But, please do get in touch with us, share your ideas, and it would be great to work together. So, diolch yn fawr, iawn am gwrando.